past, fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember you're discreet now, get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here. And now, whenever we last left off with this series, we had Izuku Carter. Now, with that being said, Izuku Carter, he has gone on many missions, and recently he has been getting more involved with the High Table. Now, in the last part, he was able to get Momo Yaoyorozu to kill all for one, them then putting his corpse in front of UA. And, well, he just solved a whole lot of problems for All Might. Now, with that being said, we are going over a bit of a time skip. And I want to say a hefty one at that. Now, with that, please bear with me if you are confused, as we do have Izuku Carter at the age of 22. Him waking up in his bed, as it is roughly 8 o'clock in the morning. Now, Izuku Carter, he actually does roll over and put his hand on his wife, as he actually does tell Toru that it's time for them to get up. Her actually just getting out of bed, as Midoriya and her do go to make breakfast, talking about what they plan to do for the day. Now, as Midoriya is staying there in the kitchen, he does talk about how he's not really too sure. He's never really thought that he would retire this early on into his career. Retirement. Well, it sounds like a nice idea, but me and Yaoyorozu are still going to be very busy. Yeah, it sucks that both of you guys can't stay here. I mean, think about it. We're both basically rich. I don't have to work a day in my life anymore. And, well, after everything back then, it's kind of difficult, you know? Yeah, I understand it. Plus, well, somebody has to be here to look after her. That's a good point. I think I might take her shopping today. Yeah, I think she would really enjoy that. Now, with that being said, we do have Midoriya, who does actually go to walk upstairs. As he does so, he does knock on a door and say it's time to get up. Now, this is whenever Midoriya's daughter does actually get up, and she does walk out, as we do have Eri Carter, who does ask Izuku if breakfast is already made. Midoriya saying that yes it is. Pancakes are downstairs, and so is plenty of maple syrup. Her running down, as Midoriya does tell her to shower after she does eat. Now, Midoriya then actually does go to take a shower himself, as he's standing there, looking up as the water is pouring down into his face. And he does just think about it. His past, his bloody history, all those years ago, as roughly shortly after Midoriya and Momo killed all for one, there was an incident with Shigaraki, where after a few months he tried to get with the Yakuza, and their plans quickly fell apart. The moment that Midoriya found a contact info about an escaped kid, he actually did look a bit into this, and Overhaul tried to hire anyone in the underworld to get back this kid, talking about how he can give them a favor, or simply just pay them as much as he can possible. Now, Midoriya was in the city, and he actually was a bit curious. He just has to find some guy's daughter. Sounds easy enough. However, not going to the police is sketchy. So, he wanted to make sure that this kid was okay. Now, he did find Eri, as she was actually walking down the street. Her arms covered in bandages, along with her body. Now, this was peculiar, and Midoriya, he did find her, as he does have a photograph of her on his phone. Now, Midoriya did actually talk to Eri. She was scared at first, but Midoriya, he did tell her that he was sent here by the person who was supposed to take her back home. She was scared. Midoriya is saying that they're not going back with Mr. Overhaul. As Midoriya, he just took Eri and ran. Now, he did inform his contact that he's had no luck on the case. Now, Midoriya, he wanted to protect Eri, and he took her back with him. He knew that putting her in an orphanage could be risky, or putting her in the hero's hands is also risky. If this child is let out into the world and tries to live a normal life, there's a chance that villains will just come after her once again. And even if that doesn't happen, that little chance that it doesn't, there are still going to be people who won't let her live her life normally, along with her quirk. Now, Midoriya took her to a doctor. She was scared, but she did see the man. And Midoriya did inform the man about what he knows about Eri. Her quirk is called Rewind, and Overhaul gave her a brief summary about how it did work. However, he was also performing tests and doing unorthodox experiments on this little kid. Now, the doctor did seem to be disturbed by that. However, upon actually performing a test on Eri, they discovered more about her. The doctor actually telling Midoriya that this girl would be a very good candidate to be in their programs. Listen, doctor. That's all in good health and hands, of course. But do understand, this kid, she's not going into our world. Mr. Carter? What world? Don't worry about it, Eri. Listen, Midoriya does say bending down, talking about how he's going to talk to somebody here, and they're going to look after her while he does do something. Now, Midoriya actually did try to get into contact with his mother at this point, and they were able to set something up. For a little bit of time, Eri was living far away in a countryside, where Midoriya would come and visit her occasionally. And then, 5 years later, whenever Midoriya was at the age of 20 years old, that was whenever things really did get bad. Midoriya's mother, she suffered from an illness, which eventually took her life from her. Now, this was quite peculiar. The most famous assassin in the underworld, she wasn't killed by anyone, she wasn't taken down by anything. She died of an illness that no one could identify. Now, there was at her funeral whenever a man did actually walk to Midoriya, as we do have Toru and Momo at his side. As Midoriya, he did mourn, and the man did hand him an envelope that did have instructions for Izuku. Now, Midoriya was surprised, as he was reading it and discovered his mother's final wish. For him to get out of this life. All of the resources that she had in her disposal are his. The markers she does have, their locations, and her fortunes. Now, Midoriya, he was thankful. And he actually did contact the High Table about this, as he performed this task single-handedly. What he had to do. Within 1 week, he had to take out the enemies the High Table saw as actual threats, and organizations that were secret. Now, Midoriya traveled to 10 different countries, and dismantled each one of their underworlds so they could be restructured for the High Table. Now, Midoriya did all of this, taking down decades upon decades of work for each organization within just 1 week. And it was seen as nearly impossible. But somehow he got it done. And in this time, Midoriya racked up a kill count so high that it could be considered to be legendary. The total amount of people within each organization, if you were to tally everybody, even the ones that there might be unaccounted for, Midoriya would have had to kill over 12,000 people. And that's horrifying. That number alone, already on top of his impressive kill count, Midoriya has killed somewhere around 13,000 people in his entire life. And he made his entire career into a legend. Now, Midoriya did then retire, and he did go to pick up Eri one day, as he would hand over a coin to the person who was looking after her. The person actually taking the coin and watching as Midoriya does actually go to pull his gun. Midoriya pulling it out of his holster slowly and handing it over to them, informing them that this is his gift to them. As they do look down at it, a specialized weapon with an engraving. Wow, this is very nice. It is. That weapon is something special. My mother, she gave it to me whenever I was a very young boy. And I want you to have it. You've looked after her for these past 5 years. Now, Eri does just look at Midoriya. A man with a beard and shaggy long hair, who doesn't look like he's slept in a long time. Now, he does go on telling Eri that they can get her bags and go to the car. Now, with that being said, this was whenever Midoriya took Eri to her brand new home. And she was actually excited, happy about all of this, wanting to know when she would be able to actually go to school. And Midoriya did inform her of many things, as he did actually tell her that they have to take certain precautions to keep her safe, to which she did understand, talking about how the person taking care of her did tell her how to use a gun, and actually train her in a bit of ways to defend herself. Midoriya nodding, and saying that is very good. Now, this would be whenever we do actually have Midoriya who does walk her into the bathroom, as there you do have Momo, sitting there directly next to the bathtub as she does stand up, saying that they have to dye her hair, and that she does understand this, correct? Her actually having her eyes wide as she does says that she doesn't want to dye her hair. Now, Momo does actually make a variety of hair dye and saying that she can dye it to any color she does want. And that she doesn't just have to pick black. Now, Eri, she did find this to be quite exciting and quite interesting, as Toru did actually go to pick up Eri, talking about how there's a ghost in the bathroom, and Eri did start to freak out a little bit before being put down, and she would just say Miss Toru or Miss Hakakure, to which, well, Eri was very excited, talking about how it's been a very long time. Now, Toru was able to convince her to go with a, well, orangish hair color. And Momo was leaning towards something like purple or something like blue. However, Midoriya was pushing for black. Now, Eri, she did just pick the orange one. And this is how she would hide her identity, along with a name change. Eri Carter. And then there is, well, let's see, a little bit of time later, where Midoriya, he got engaged and married to two different women, Toru Hakakure and Momo Yaoyorozu, or Toru Carter and Momo Carter, as they are now known. Now, these two have not retired yet. Momo, she's already starting to make a name for herself in the underworld, having resources to have access to and actually specialized perks that her father does let her enjoy. This little slice of happiness is one of them. And we do have Toru, who actually is getting her things together to soon retire. She expects that she'll be able to retire whenever she's at the age of 25. So roughly in almost 4 years. Now, with that being said, we'll cut back to the current day. 2 years later, where Midoriya, he's taking Eri to the mall. And she's actually having a blast, shopping and looking around at different things. As they actually do go to an ice cream shop after Midoriya did buy her clothes for school and actually new outfits. Now, with that being said, Midoriya and Eri, they do just sit there, him asking her how school is currently going. And she does say that she's actually having a lot of fun in school. Midoriya asking her if he needs to take her back to that man. Oh, no, you don't need to take me back to that doctor. Actually, my scars haven't reappeared in a while. Okay, that's good. It's been about 2 weeks already. He really has improved on his craft with his work. Yeah, the claymaker is pretty nice. Then again, there's certain things he can fix and certain things he can't. Yeah. I understand that, Eri. I did tell you that I can get you a proper doctor and, well, get rid of them entirely, but I know that you're hesitant to go back under the knife. It's okay, Dad. Now, Eri did say that out loud, as her face turns red, and Midoriya, he does choke on the drink that he's currently drinking. Now, after he does spit it out, he does just look over at her. That is a first. Never in the entire time he's been taking care of Eri has she ever called him Dad. And Midoriya, he actually did feel a bit of warmth. Now, Eri, however, she was embarrassed. Her embarrassment not lasting long, as somebody does run by and grab her bag. As they do that, they go to take off. Now, Midoriya does see the hooded man, and he does use his quirk to slow down time, as he actually does go to stand up. Now, with the amount of training Midoriya does have his quirk at, I do want to say that his reaction speed, his usage of the quirk, and even a small little quirk evolution have taken place. Now, Midoriya is able to see where the man is going to head, and his quirk has actually evolved to allow him to see routes he can take to directly get into the way of or the path of that person. And Midoriya, he actually does look directly at them and lock onto them, as he does have routes up here, him running to his left and telling Eri to stay here, as he does make his way that way, as the guy he's already ran directly out of the mall and down the street, as he does actually go to around a corner into an alleyway, thinking about how he can just cut through here and then go into the fence or go into the area in this building and stay here to lay low for a minute, hide the things here and then come back later for them after the heat's died down a little bit, thinking that he lost that guy. Now, as it does actually happen, we do have Midoriya, who took a trash can lid and directly came out from behind the corner, smashing the guy directly in the face with it. Now, the guy flew backwards and hit the ground, as he did go to get back up. Now, he's just looking at Midoriya. What the hell? You piece of shit. Why'd you do that for? Because you just took my daughter's bags. Your daughter? Listen, man, I don't know what you're talking about. The man says, talking about how he bought all that stuff himself. The man looking down at the bag along with Midoriya, as the man does just see clothes, as he does just somewhat curse under his breath. He thought that there was more expensive things there. He saw them walk into that electronics store. Oh well, the guy does say, pulling out a knife and saying that just hand over all the money he does have on him. As Midoriya does go to step forwards, telling the man that that's not going to happen. Now, the man does back up slowly, looking at Midoriya's stone face. Listen, man, just back off. Give me all your money or else you're gonna get stabbed. Go ahead. Do it. Midoriya to say, grabbing the man by his wrist and actually bringing the knife up to his face, telling the man to cut him. Try it. What are you, fucking psycho? Now, Midoriya screams at the man, who does actually pull back his hand and actually thrust it forwards directly into Midoriya's gut. Now, the man lets go of the knife as he does back away, looking down to see Midoriya's gut, as Midoriya just brings up his hand and wraps his fingers around the blade, pulling it out, as he doesn't even move. There's not even blood from his wound. You're fucking psycho, man. I'm getting out of here. The man says he does actually go to turn around. Midoriya throwing out his hand as he turned it into clay, grabbing the man and coating around him, as the man is pulled back into the alleyway and smashes against a wall. Midoriya walking over, and informing the man that he's going to die in this alleyway, and how he's a very, very bad person, as Midoriya beats the man into a bloody pulp, before just actually bringing the knife up and tossing it down into the man's leg, telling him how, if he's lucky, people will find him before he bleeds out. Now, Midoriya did actually walk away, and back into the mall, as Aries sitting there drinking her milkshake. Now, Midoriya did walk up to her and hold up her bags, saying that he got it back, with a bit of a smile on his face. And Eri should actually at least laugh and say that he really is a very, very, well, heroic person. And Midoriya did actually somewhat smile at that. Now, with that being said, we do have actually, I do believe that would be a good point to leave this off of. Anyway, guys, I do hope you enjoyed, and have an amazing night. I'll catch you guys in the next part.